Jika terjadi gempa, telah di segitiga kehidupan seperti sela-sela meja dan menjauh dari jendela atau barang-barang yang berpotensi jatuh hingga gempa mereda. Kemudian lakukan evakuasi keluar gedung menuju ke titik kumpul. Jika ada peringatan dini tsunami, segeralah melakukan evakuasi menuju tempat evakuasi tsunami terdekat. Demikian safety briefing yang dan terima kasih telah berkunjung di tempat kami.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Ohayo gozaimasu. Respectable the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Syekh Kuala University, Professor Dr. Insinyur Agus Sapti, MSI, IPU. Honorable the Director of TDMRC, Syekh Kuala University, Professor Dr. Syamsidik ST, MSc. Ladies, welcome to the Knowledge Season with Professor Shigeru Kato on topic coastal protection technology in Japan, an opportunity to study at Toyohashi University of Technology, held on Thursday, 30 January 20 and 25 with hybrid season at Auditorium TDMRC, Syekh Kuala University and Zoom meeting. Let me introduce myself. I am Arisna Fauzia. It's awesome and precious chance for me to be the master of ceremony for today's event. It's such a great pleasure meeting of you all. First and foremost, let us praise to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of his blessing, we are to attend this event. Secondly, peace be upon the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has guided human life from the distraction into the right way of Islam. The first agenda is the opening. Let's open this event by reading together Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and pray according to our respective belief. Amin. Ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you. Next, please stand for a moment to sing the Indonesia Raya song. Okay. The audience is invited to sit back down. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, step onto the following agenda is speeches for opening remarks from Professor Dr. Agus Sapti as the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Syakuala University, and we would like to the request that the knowledge season to be officially open. Please remain on the stage, Prof.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and warm greeting to all of you, distinguished guests. Professor Shigeri Kato from Toyohashi University of Technology, Japan. Professor Sam Siddiq, Head of the Tsunami and Disaster Mitigation Research Center, Kuala. Esteemed faculty members and researchers, dear students and ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let us extend our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His grace and blessing and for giving us opportunity to gather here for His event today. On behalf of Universitas Kuala, I sincerely thank Prof. Professor Shigeri Kato for making his time to join us today and share his knowledge and insight in this guest lecture session. The theme of today's lecture is called Coastal Protection Technology in Japan, an opportunity to study at Toyohashi University of Technology. This holds great significance, particularly for us who reside in coastal region. As an archipelagic nation, Indonesia faces numerous coastal protection and disaster mitigation challenges. Therefore, gaining insight into the advanced coastal protection technologies, such as those developed in Japan, and learning about the opportunities for further studies at Toyohashi University is truly a valuable opportunity for us all. At Universitas Kuala, we strongly emphasize the importance of applying scientific knowledge to address real-world challenges. The synergy between theoretical understanding and practical implementation must continuously be forced so that research contribute to academic advancement and provide tangible benefit to society and national development. Furthermore, we hope this session will serve as a foundation for further collaboration between Universitas Kuala and Toyohashi University in relevant fields, particularly in academic exchange, technology development, and collaborative research on coastal protection and disaster mitigation. Strengthening this partnership will undoubtedly enhance academic capacity and provide innovative solutions to the environmental challenges that we collectively face. Once again, I extend my deepest gratitude to Professor Shigeri Kato, the head of TDMRC, and all parties involved in organizing this event. May the discussion and insight shared today inspire us and benefit our academic community. With that, I conclude my remarks. I wish this event a great success and hope it foster even stronger academic and research collaboration between our institution. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Prof, for your time. Before that, let's take a position for photo session together. For the audience on Zoom meeting, please open your camera and we also take the photo together. Please, thank you. Please participant take the photo session. Boleh yang nggak muat ke atas boleh. Thank you, everyone. Next, moving along to our session with speaker and assist by the moderator, Tursina Esteante. Please welcome Miss Tursina, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. First of all, let us pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Salawat to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. My Honorable to Vice Rector one of Universitas Syekh Kuala, Professor Agus Sapti. My Honorable to Head of TDMRC, Professor Dr. Samsidik. My Honorable to our distinguished speaker, Professor Shigeri Kato from Toyohashi University of Technology, Japan. Distinguished guests and all participants who attending offline and online today. I would like to welcome to guest lecture or knowledge session of TDMRC with the topic Coastal Protection Technology in Japan and opportunity to study at Toyohashi University of Technology, Japan. let me introduce myself. My name is Tursina. I will be a moderator today. So I think this topic is very important and very interesting. So we are going to listen and discuss this topic with our speakers today, Professor Shigeri Kato. So I would like to invite Professor Shigeri Kato come to the stage. How are you, Sensei?
Thank you very much for your my invitation.
I think this is after 5 years we meet Sensei again in
Maybe 5 years.
person. I meeting Sensei again after 5 years. So I would like to, before we begin our discussion today, allow me to read the CV of the Professor Shigeri Kato. Professor Shigeri Kato is a professor of coastal engineering on Department of Architecture and Civil Engineering, Toyohashi University of Technology, Japan. He obtained his engineering degree from Gifu University, Japan. Professor Shigeri Kato is an expert on coastal engineering. His research focus is sediment dynamic and topographic change in river mount and coastal region. And then measurement or monitoring of sediment movement of coastal morphology. And then his research focus also on coastal disaster mitigation. Additional information for all of you here. Professor Shigeri Kato is my supervisor. Professor Shigeri Kato is my supervisor on my doctoral degree in Universitas Kuala. So I'm so happy to meet him today. But at the same time, I also so nervous. But I'm so nervous. I have not finished yet my task as a student.
It's not your problem. I think the system that your company, your country.
Yes. So as a student, maybe I be nervous with meeting with my supervisor because my task is not finished yet. Okay. I also want to greet our participant online. I see some of you maybe know well Professor Shigeri Kato. I see Rashif. Tuku Muhammad Rashif is student, also student of Professor Shigeri Kato. Now we will begin the first session. Our knowledge session is divided into 2 sessions. First session is with the topic of coastal protection technology in Japan. And the second, and we will continue the question and answer. And then we will move to second topic with the topic of the opportunity to study in Toyohashi University of Technology, Japan. And then we continue for question and answer. If all of you have a question, please raise your hand if you are a participant, on-site participant. And to the participant online, please question on the chat box. So without further ado, please, Sensei, the time is yours.
Thank you very much. So I will start. Nama pagi. Nama saya Kato. Saya dari Universitas Teknologi Toyohashi. Universitas Teknologi Toyohashi di Japan. It's okay. I'm sorry. It is all of my Indonesian language ability. That's all. And I'm very honored to have this opportunity to give me my presentation in the TDMRC. And I would like to thank to the Professor Shamsidik for giving me this opportunity. He has been my old friend, maybe about 20 years ago. Yes. And I would also like to thank the Andre for preparing this seminar, and also the Trushina and Arisna for helping me with this seminar. I think some people can speak Japanese well, so if there are some problem in this seminar, so please help me. So today I will talk about these two topics. So the first is the coastal protection measure in Japan, and the second is a brief introduction of the transition-based technology. So first, I will start the first topics. Okay. So first topic is the coastal protection measures in Japan. So my name is Shigeri Kato. So today, this topic's content is the purpose of the coastal protection in Japan and the method of the coastal conservation. It's including the mitigation and the recent concept, the coastal conservation in Japan. I want to talk this in the maybe 1 hour. First of all, in Japan, we have this coastal law. It was established in about 70 years ago. And about 70 years ago, the purpose of this law is sorry. No. Point. Nothing. Oh, point 9. Okay, I understand. Okay, sorry. Oh, okay. And anyway, okay. The purpose of this law is protecting the coast from the damage, because Japan has several disasters from the coast. So the main purpose is the defense against the coastal disaster. Then the target is high waves, overtopping, and erosion. For example, also the high tide and the tsunami. The storm surge is the high tide due to the typhoon. Maybe it's you're not familiar with this storm surge, but maybe it's the high tide, very high level, high sea level. The first target, the phenomena is the protection, but in 1999, the Partial Amendment in Japan, the improvement of the conservation of the coastal environment. So including the environment and also the appropriate public use of the coast. So now Japanese coastal law is the three purpose for the protection and the coastal environment and the public use. And also now we have the very severe condition against the global warming. So recently we have to consider these issue, global warming. Later, I will explain. And firstly, I want to explain, summarize the current state and situation of Japan. Japan has maybe it's very similar to in your country, but Japanese coast has a lot of the problem in like this. There are some tsunami source, and also some area is a severe erosion, and that there are many typhoon pass. Usually typhoon pass, there are 3 or 4 typhoon every year. Then, but recent year, some year more than 5 typhoon pass, and some other year it's no pass. So this fluctuation of the number of the typhoon pass is changing. Also, there are many land subsidence, also the winter wind wave in this area. So natural condition is the very, very long coastal line and island surrounded by the sea all of the side, and path of the typhoon, and the plate boundary, and the trench earthquake nearby the sea, and winter waves, winter wind wave. And also this is the natural because population very close to the coastal area, because Japan has a lot of mountain area, and unfortunately the flat area is very limited, and this flatted area is close to the coast. So finally, population and the property is concentrated in the coastal area. And then this concentration also results in the coastal topographic change due to the various use of the coastal area, for example, the economical use, for example, the construction, the harbor, or industrial area. Then these both conditions is make the disaster-prone coastal line in Japan. This is an example of the damage due to the tsunami, also the other high wave and the high tide. This is due to the tsunami in the Sendai airport in Tohoku area by the Tohoku earthquake. It is very, the Sendai airport is far from the coastal line, but in this case, flooding due to the tsunami arrived to the airport, and many area is inundated. Also, this is the overtopping and the flooding due to the high wave in the Toyama prefecture. It's face to the Japan coast. It's due to the winter wind wave. So some water intrudes our inland area. Also the overtopping, the very high wave due to the typhoon. And this is flat due to the storm side. It means high tide condition by the typhoon attack. So in the city area, many of the city area is flooded like this. This condition is common in Japan. So this is the current situation in Japan. And also, we have the very severe problem in about the coastal erosion. The many coastal erosions occurred along the coast. Japan has a very small island, so erosion means the reduce of the land area. So in Japan, the coastal erosion is a very important problem, but coastal erosion is occurred due to the imbalance of the sediment supply and input and output of the sediment on the coast, as well as the wave disasters caused by the typhoon and the winter wind wave. So in Japan, many coasts is affected by the severe wave condition, and there are these severe erosions occurred. For these disasters, generally speaking, in Japan, we selected these countermeasure. It means a hard structure countermeasure. The various coastal facilities installed to protect the from against the coastal disaster, for example, wave and the seawater intrusion. This is an embankment to stop the wave. Also, this is an offshore breakwater to stop the wave attack on the beach. This is a little strange structure. It is the artificial beach. It is a submerged breakwater. It means almost the same as the breakwater, but the top of the breakwater every time under the sea, under the water, under the sea water level. And it is very a little soft. Thank you very much. This submerged breakwater is also installed in the near the coast. And unfortunately, but this structure cannot stop all of the wave, but we can keep the circulation of the water and also the beach condition. And this is the jetty, this structure. There are many jetty, but this structure stops the sediment flow. But by this jetty, we can conserve the sediment in between these jetty. So we can manage in the short area, and continuous this jetty can manage the very long coast. Also, we can use this headland structure. Also, it's very similar to the jetty, and keep the sediment near this structure. And also, there are many blocks to stop the wave attack, absorbing the works. Also, the land barrier and the flood gate to stop the seawater intrusion to our land. And this structure is the usually used for the protection of the coastal management. But recently, we also use a soft countermeasure. What is a soft is usually we said beach nourishment. Beach nourishment is sand input to secure and maintain the beach widths. Generally speaking, the hard structure, once we construct, we don't need any cost, because once we construct, usually the concrete block has the lifetime of the 50 years or more. But then there are, actually speaking, we need some maintenance, but not so much money. Then, but this nourishment is sand input. Sand can move. Then this countermeasure needs the continuous cost to keep the beach. Then to keep the beach, we need also the continuous monitoring and maintenance. The old type like this, that we construct this structure wave absorbing blocks and also the vertical embankment to stop the wave attack like this. Maybe within the several years, this structure works very well. But unfortunately, over the years, this wave eroded the front beach. And unfortunately, usually these block, the crops, also the vertical are moved, and these vertical embankment, the crops. And also there are very severe erosion. So after that, we have to install another structure or another countermeasure. So it is its construction and keep, and after the destroy construction again, then it is not so good and also not efficient for the viewpoint of the economy. And also including the environmental issue. Then recently we used the combination of hard structure and the soft countermeasure. It means nourishment like this. And also hard structure is not vertical, like a mild slope embankment, and also nourishment and artificial beach, artificial reef to stop the sediment movement to offshore. We said this is the line defense. It's a very thin line on the beach. But recently, we select this area defense. So from the land to a little bit offshore area, it means that some band on the coastal area. So mix of this countermeasure is work well. But in this case, the problem and the question is how do we get the sun? And also where we get sun from? It's a very big problem and important part. Now in Japan, the big problem is lack of sun. No enough supply from land to coast. Usually sediment is supplied from the land area through the river. But during economic development in Japan, about 15 years ago, just before my birth, so during these years, there are many dam construction to make the power energy, water power energy. And there are dam construction. It means the stop of the flow. Its flow including not only water, but also the sediment, sand. And collection of the sand as a construction material. Not sand, it's the gravel, but it's a source of the sand. Because in this economic development, in urban area, we have our Japanese company, Japanese government built the many building and also the development of the urban area. At that time, we need the many concrete. So to use the concrete, we need some gravel. So sand from the river is very useful because once sand arrives at the sea, the salty sand is not good for the concrete material. So before arriving at the coast, many companies collect the sand in the river area. So decrease of this is result in the decrease of the sand volume from river, from land to coast, and also on the coast near the coastline. This is the comparison of the shoreline, the river mouth, with big river mouth. The red line is the before the economic development. So there are many enough sediment in the river mouth. And also this, and yellow line after this area. So sand is reduced. And this is a cross profile of this area. So this profile became this one. It means a reduce of the sediment volume in the river mouth area. Sediment from the river once stop the river mouth on the terrace. And the second step, this storage sand will go the coastal area. But unfortunately, in this data, the river mouth area, the sediment volume is reduced. Then this is a lack of the sediment supply from the river mouth to coastal area. So anyway, big problem in the sand volume is limited. So recently, we tried to use the next management policy system. It is an integrated sediment management in the sediment transport system. System means a very large area. It's in the viewpoint of the sediment flow. The sediment transport system is a watershed, river and land, and coastal area. So like this, it is a big river. And this red line area and the blue line area is one sediment transport system. So we estimate the volume of the sediment in this area and how to manage the sediment in this area. But in this discussion, so the river is upstream and the coast is most downstream location. And then coastal area is the condition of the coastal area depending on the river area. And different point is the direction of the sand movement. In the river, usually from mountain area to the coast, from up to down, the unit direction. So when there are some erosion in this area, maybe sediment go there or go there. So we can estimate the sediment transport direction. But in the coastal area, the sediment movement has a multi-direction. So in the by direction along the coast, or sometimes the cross shore direction. So it means a multi-direction. So it's very complicated. So especially in the coastal river mouth area, sediment flow, river flow is very strong. And maybe main direction is across the coast. But we have to stop the sediment near the river and then change to the direction to the coastal along the coast. So this connection is very important, but this is a lack of the knowledge here. Then this is the case study of the sediment redistribution in the coastal area. Oh, sorry. Oh, this one. Oh, okay. As I said before, we wait of the sediment supply from the river, but unfortunately, this is not enough yet. But coastal condition changing day by day. So we have to do some countermeasure in the coastal area, depending instead of the less of the sediment transport from the river mouth. So the case study of the sediment redistribution in the coastal area, because in this case, here is the river mouth, and here is another small river mouth, and there are some structure. So here is a sediment sand deposition area near here. Beach width is very wide, and here is very narrow beach area. It's the erosion area. So sediment transport direction is from river mouth and this direction. So every time here is the deposition area. If so, but this enough this volume is sometimes make a problem in the here is this harbor. This sand enter the harbor. Then we will extract the sand from this area to transport this area, the erosion area. So this is a sand recycling. This is enough sand. This is a less sand. So we will transport. This is transport sediment by ourselves. For example, by the truck. Then, so this is a sand recycling. Also, another case of the sediment recycling and on the sediment bypassing. this orange area is the sediment input, but source of this sediment sand is from the river. This is the coast, and the source of this sediment is from the Abe River, this is a big river. And then we take the sediment in the river watershed and transport also by truck and input artificially here. Naturally, this sediment can move from the river mouth to the coast, but it is very slow. We cannot wait. So if the natural sediment transport arrived here, we will stop this bypassing. But until the arriving the sediment transport, so we have to put artificially from the river area to coastal area to the erosion, severe erosion area. This is also the sand bypassing. But some other area here is very wide beach width. Then this sand is extract, and here is some erosion area. So we reuse. It's the recycle from the accumulated area to front of some airport. Also the sand recycling. So we use the sand bypassing and also sand recycling to redistribute the coastal, the sand in the coastal area. It's in the coast. 15 years ago or 60 years ago, the engineer at that era cannot image this problem. So anyway, this fishing port is important for this area. So anyway, to construct. And then these sediment problems occurred. And here, this is enough sediment volume. And this is a lack of sediment very clearly. This graph, it indicates the beach width along this coast. Some area enough, and also here, the front of the harbor is enough sediment. If there are no structure, maybe this sand will transport here. Then we transport this sediment, the downstream, the sand bypassing, supply the downstream side. Also, unfortunately, in the upstream area, there are the erosion area, so we also use these enough sediment to this erosion area sand recycling. So this is also the optimization of the sediment volume by the redistribution, artificial redistribution. If possible, this redistribution in naturally, it's very useful, it is very good, but unfortunately, it is impossible. So we have to do by ourselves. But to optimize and to keep the coastal condition, it is now, it is, I think, not the best, but I think the better countermeasure in the coastal area in Japan. Then recently, the coastal management policy in Japan is like this. So management, including the coastal conservation, also protection and disaster mitigation, all of the management in the coastal. Then the policy is ensuring the constant width of the sandy beach, because sandy beach is some function for have the function for the absorbing the wave. Then sandy beach is necessary for the protection and for the hinterland. And the sandy beach also have the value in terms of coastal environment and utilization. It is the viewpoint of the revised coastal law. Then most important task is how to maintain this sandy beach. To maintain the sandy beach, we have to pay attention the continuity of the sediment transport. This is the big problem in Japan, as I said before, but this is very important. The coastal erosion is caused by the imbalance in the sediment transport. It's if it is a very short area, in case of the very short area, like the harbor, there are upstream sediment accumulation, the downstream sediment erosion. These are the imbalance of the sediment. So ensuring the continuity of the sediment transport is important. And by redistribution, we have to correct the balance of the sediment transport. Then effective way of ensuring the beach is this redistribution in Japan. Then finally, I think the fate of the sediment management in Japan, no sand, not enough sand. So relying on the supply from river is a coastal situation. We have to wait. The sediment management in the river area has a large impact. It means dam construction, for example. So sediment supply from the river is almost supplied to the coast. Then we consider the integrated coastal management in the sediment transport system. And fortunately, in the river area, in some part, there are many sand. So how to distribute of the small amount of effectively? So in the coastal area, sand bypassing and sand recycling, it means the reuse. The very limited amount of the sand. So we reuse any place. And how to compensate for the shortage of the beach? The beach width is important index of the beach management. Then we try to keep the beach width by the beach nourishment, relocation with the area, the procurement for the outside area. So, but anyway, important, big problem is there is not enough sun. But anyway, we have to do some countermeasure. So limited, sand is limited. So we have to optimization of the sediment distribution in the coastal area. In Japan, we have another big problem for the coastal management. Deterioration of the coastal structure, because many structure has already over the 50 years old. Now, maybe after the 10 years, 70% of the old structure is over the 50 years. It is very old people society, like almost similar in Japanese society. Many old people, very small number of the young people. But also same in the coastal structure. Then we have to make some appropriate measure to prevent the deterioration of the structure more. So it means that management of each facility will understand and soundness of those structure and the plan for the prolonging of the service time is very important in Japan. But it is very lucky because some structure is how to say that the surface of the structure is the deterioration, but this is only surface condition. So we can renovate like this. So by this deterioration measure, we can apply the many structure, but there are no plan for the countermeasure for the deterioration. So now the Japanese government, also Ministry of this construction, try to make some manual for this countermeasure for the deterioration. And another problem is resilience of the structure. It is very similar to your country. We have also the big severe disaster by the tsunami and the Great East Japan earthquake in 2011. It's a Tohoku earthquake. Then Japanese government focusing on the disaster prevention measure. It means the strengthen to the national run against the natural disaster, almost a tsunami. So we have to consider the resilient coastal structure for the severe force. What is the resilience? It means in this, this is a Japanese understanding, interpretation. Resilience means that not destroy even if the overflow. Old policy, overflow was not accepted. We have to stop all of the disaster. But now in the resilience, we can allow, the overflow is allowed, but not destroyed. And if they are destroyed or collapse, take a long time. Keep the shape as possible as long. It is the snapshot in the Tohoku earthquake. Here is the collapsed the breakwater and the embankment. The lee side of this area is very eroded. But here is not collapsed. In this area, the damage is very small. Then collapsed part is, and not collapsed and collapsed different from the behind the uncollapsed area. So if structure can withstand even a little, damage can be minimized. Then keep the shape, it means resilience in Japan. Can I start the movie? Yes. I'm sorry, it is only Japanese. This is a conventional structure. This is a resilient structure. Once the overflow is started, it's a conventional structure. Once block moved, another block also broke. Block is moved and finally destroyed. But this is a resilience structure. The overflow was start once overflow started, but almost block don't move. And then finally, the shape of the did stop the sound.
ここからは先ほど
No,
の実
no
験
sound,
を
only Japanese.
別の角度から撮影した映像で振り返ります。
It is a side view of the
左
same
側が粘り強い
experiment.
構造。
Here is a
右側が
conventional.
小
This
さい
is a
構造です。
resilient structure. Yes, thank you. It's once block moved, other block also moved, and then total structure collapse. But this is a resilient structure, keep the shape, even though the overflow is started. So keep the shape of the break and embankment. So final shape of the embankment is very big difference. Here is very eroded, that is not so eroded. Then in Japan, this is a resilience for the disaster. Then the Japanese government revised the technical standard for the port facility. So guideline for the tsunami resilient breakwater design. This is a very difficult design for the company. Because if there are some standard for the structure, they can keep this standard, but in the resilience over this force, please keep the shape. How much is the maximum strength? They don't know, and also the government don't know. So we have to think how to manage, how to design. But anyway, partly we have to define the design tsunami, the target tsunami. And resilience against the tsunami is the keep the shape. And this resilience is added as a required performance. So once the company constructs this structure, they have to satisfy this required performance. So for facility that may have the significant impact on the human life, the property, or society, it means the reside is some urban area. Resilience against the tsunami is specified as a new required performance. It's very difficult. Then definition of the resilience is delaying as much as possible the significant impact on the stability. So keep the shape. And in the event of the tsunami that exceed the design tsunami, the ones we define the design tsunami, the target tsunami, but the performance is over this design tsunami, please keep the shape. But anyway, in Japan, this is the resilience of the resilience structure. And additionally, recently we have to consider the countermeasure for against the global warming. By the IPCC review, there are many impacts in our life by the global warming, sea level rise. It's a very important factor, it may be sea level rise, and also the temperature rising. By this impact, for example, the typhoon, the tropical cyclone is very strong, and increased the storm surge. It's the high tide due to the storm surge also increase. It means the sea level rise in the short period. And also maybe by the change of the weather change, wave height, wave strength also increase. And directly, sea level rise has a very big impact to our life. And then beach, also the structure, also our living area receives some impact of the coastal condition change. So we have to consider this change of the circumstance environment. Then now we consider this change by the global warming. So future prediction of the climate change affecting the coastal consumption and the response to the policy. It means that this thin line is the not current condition, but after the global warming, maybe sea level will rise, and also the sea level rise by the typhoon, or it means the storm surge also increase. Wave height also very big. Then this is a present plan, current situation, the high water level and the tide oscillation and height for the design wave, and it is a margin height. But for the future, we have to consider the change of this value. So changing the external force, and our standard also divides like this. Then current approach is a plan based on the past record. Once we have the experience of this severe condition, it is a standard of our current approach. But the future approach, including this past record and with the future prediction, it means that we have to predict the GISRA. Then our coastal management have the lack of sand, also the soft countermeasure, and the deterioration of the structure and also the against for the global warming. There are many problems in Japanese cost management. But I think it is very similar to your country. So I hope this knowledge is useful for your country's coastal management. It's my presentation for the first topic. Thank you very much.
Please give applause to Professor Shigeri Kato. Now we are going to open question and answer session. If there are any question from the on-site participant or question from the online participant. If you have any question, please raise your hand. Apakah ada yang ingin bertanya kepada Profesor Shigeri Kato? Saya ingin meresume sedikit. Tadi beliau menjelaskan tentang coastal protection di Jepang. Jadi ternyata sekarang mereka mempunyai masalah dengan coastal perlindungan pantai mereka. Dulu 50 tahun yang lalu para engineer-nya itu membangun pelindung pantai tanpa memerhatikan suplai sedimen. Nah, ternyata sekarang itu menjadi permasalahan mereka. Suplai sedimen mereka sekarang itu jadi berkurang sehingga terjadi erosi besar-besaran. Padahal kita tahu bahwa suplai sedimen itu perlu keseimbangan ya, perlu keseimbangan. Kemudian dari penjelasan Profesor Shigeri Kato juga kita melihat bahwa banyak kesamaan antara negara kita dengan negara Jepang. Sama-sama negara kepulauan yang banyak lautnya, banyak pantainya, dan tipikal bencananya pun juga mirip-mirip ya, sama ada tsunami, ada gempa. Yang bedanya mungkin tadi di sana ada typhoon, ada winter wind wave. Nah, kita nggak punya gitu. Nah, jadi problem mereka sekarang itu suplai sedimen mereka sedikit. Nah, apa kita jual aja pasir kita untuk mereka? Karena kita pasirnya banyak. Jadi itu satu yang saya tangkap. Kemudian mereka sekarang menerapkan integrated sediment transport management gitu, supaya untuk mengatasi permasalahan mereka. Dan satu lagi, Sensei Kato juga mention how to consider global warming to in their coastal protection. Jadi jika dulu saat mendesain proteksi pantai itu, bangunan pantai, mereka hanya mempertimbangkan pasang saat itu, tidal pasang surutnya pada saat itu. Tapi kalau sekarang karena pengaruh global warming itu, mereka selain merencanakan bangunan pantai dengan pasang tertinggi, juga pengaruh prediksi pasang ke depan, seperti itu. Jadi seperti itu kira-kira yang bisa saya rangkum. Kira-kira ada pertanyaan dari teman-teman? Ada 1, 2. Boleh dibantu?
Cek. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ohayo gozaimasu. Watashi no namae wa Azizi desu. Ushia kara kimashita. じゃあ、おはようございます。私は、質問があります。Okay, my question is, why Japan and Aceh has similarities about disasters, but why the government has a different format and or different rules in handling this kind of mitigations? For example, in Japan, in Fukushima, for example, in Arahama, その2018年、私は、日本にいたときに、 そのシーウォールがいっぱいありますね。でも、あっちではそのないです。そうなんで、その government don't make this kind of rules about the sea walls, about the tsunami, because we have similarities about the disasters. And I think that's all. And what is the social problems that will be happen if we wanted to build sea walls in order to reduce or decrease the impact of tsunami about the social life. For example, like fishermen or the people around the coastal areas. I think that's all. 以上です。本当にありがとうございます、先生。
Excuse me, what's your name?
アジジです。
Azizi from?
Dari MIK.
Yes, Sensei.
Thank you very much for your question. But firstly, maybe policy difference between the Aceh and Japan, it is over my thinking. It may be the problem in the national problem, Japanese government and your Indonesian government style. But I think in Japan, many structure in the coastal area to protect the tsunami, but this structure constructed maybe 50 years ago or 40 years ago, very long time ago. At that time, we did not think through the environment of and also the activity in the coastal area. Then anyway, the first of our coastal law protect the coastal area from the coastal disaster. Then maybe hard structure is the best performance for the protection. So not only the Kagoshima, but also the many places in Japan, there are many hard structure, not only the vertical wall, but also some many blocks, also some detached breakwater. But recently, we also think that these hard structure cause the other problem, and it is impossible to stop all of this. Impossible to stop through the coastal disaster perfectly. So we have to allow the disaster from the coastal disaster, but escape from the disaster. We have to escape and keep our life from the disaster. Then recently, maybe the mix of the soft countermeasure and the hard structure. And we have, as I say, lastly, we have some target the tsunami. It means the design tsunami wave height. Maybe the less than 100-year return period, less than 100 years. It means very close to our life, 100 years. For the G tsunami, we want to stop almost perfectly. And over the return period, for example, the 200 years, the 500 years tsunami, it's a very severe tsunami. We allow not stop the tsunami. Then we stop some height of the structure. Then recently we make Japanese government make some structure in some certain design height, but only the hard structure result in the other problem. So mix with soft, it means nourishment and structure. This is a Japanese situation. And the question is, what's the difference of the Japanese situation and Aceh situation? That maybe you want to make the hard structure many more in the coastline of the Aceh area. Is okay? yeah. Which is your which is we wish. Maybe your question is why there are many structure in Japan, but in the Aceh not so many. Maybe almost same situation in Japan. So I think the difference of the time history. So And fortunately, we have the economic development. During the economic development, hard structure was constructed in this period. Then Japan has enough financial source to make a structure. I think maybe now your government, your country can make many structure along the coast, but your company, your government think hard structure is not enough. So now thinking about what is the better performance of the structure, and for example, some area for the evacuation area, or some area is not residential area, and with some structure. I think it is very useful and very safety for our life, and also the environment is the urban area. So your country can make the many structure now, but I think your government don't do that. I think. Sorry, it is my my think. I'm not sure it is correct or not.
Thank you, Sensei. Maybe social impact after
Social
the
impact.
seawall building in the Japan.
Yes. So after the Tohoku tsunami, we have the very many discussion about this one. So firstly, government plan to make a hard structure, but local people did not accept this one because many fishermen cannot do the fishery, and also Jesus high wall, they cannot see the ocean. So the local people, the view of the ocean is also the important for living this area. This is a part of their life. But hard structure, the government to protect against the tsunami, plan to the very high, more than 10 meters. This is a wall. Then this now, in some area, there are these high structure, but in other area, Japanese government did not construct this high structure. It is based on the how to say this wish from the local people, the fishermen, also the many people in the area, many older people or the young people.
Oke, thank you. Atau mungkin ada tambahan dari Prof. Samsidik terkait dengan yang lain. Oke. The second question from Bu Sylvie.
Terima kasih Bu Tur. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pertama saya izin bahasa Indonesia dulu ya. Sekalian menstrukturkan apa yang mau saya tanyakan. Pertama terima kasih untuk ceritanya Kato Sensei. Saya backgroundnya perencana. Nah, kalau di Indonesia itu perencanaan kota ataupun provinsi itu masanya paling lama 20 tahun. Nah, biasanya sudah ada pertimbangan kebencanaan di dalamnya. Tetapi seingat saya tidak sedetail sampai ke perubahan garis pantai yang lebih detail seperti tadi yang diceritakan. Nah, yang menjadi keingintahuan saya adalah apakah untuk berapa lama sebenarnya periode untuk mengamati perubahan garis pantai karena distribusi sedimen yang bisa kita lihat secara visual nampak nyata gitu ya. Kalau misalnya nanti baru nampak 100 tahun lagi mungkin dalam perencanaan tidak dimasukkan ya. Ada bencana yang misalnya siklusnya 50 tahun, 100 tahun itu dimasukkan. Nah ini untuk garis pantai itu yang mau saya tanyakan. Yang kedua, mungkin kalau ada nanti case study di Jepang yang mungkin karena pertimbangan ekonomi dan lain-lain strategis, ada satu kawasan yang memang diperkuat dengan nourishment yang tidak alami. Jadi memang diangkut atau dikhususkan lah begitu ya. Itu yang kedua. Yang ketiga, menyali ya. Satu lagi ya Bu Tur ya. Yang ketiga adalah apa namanya? Oh, yang dua dulu lah ya. Yang ketiga malah lupa. Okay, so now I will use English. So my name is Sylvia Agustina. My background is in urban planning. I'm lucky enough to spend 1 year in Toyohashi actually, working in, I think F building. I forgot the lab name, but it's urban planning lab, special planning lab. So thank you for your interesting presentation. I'm curious about the length of time for us to be able to observe a significant change in the coastal line. Is it visible in 50 years or 20 years? Why I ask this question? Because in Indonesia, the spatial planning is usually set for 20 years. And the current planning already consider some disaster consideration, but not to the level of detail of shift in the coastal line to the sediment distribution. So my question is that how long does it take for us to be able to see a significant change in the coastal line? Is it 20 years, 50 years? And if it's like short, then it will need to be considered in the spatial planning. So that's my first question. How long does it take for us to see visible change? The second one is if you can share if there is a location or a site in Japan, maybe it's important site, maybe it's because of economy or industry or other kind of site that it's near the coast, and then the government already applying the nourishment with truck transport, not natural nourishment, but with human-made nourishment. So that can give us some ideas about where and why it is necessary to do the beach nourishment that are not natural. So that's the second one. So the third one is the inclusion of this probably higher standard into building codes. I see the need for us here. For instance, in Malabo, there is a site, a historic site. It's the Teku Umar, our national heroes site. It is now already in the ocean. And like my student also doing research how to fortify the site. So even though maybe the area doesn't have very dense city near the ocean that need protection, but it has some important site to be protected. So I see that's one of the way that we can use the nourishment, beach nourishment technology. So that's a trick question. I hope I deliver my question quite clearly. Otherwise, I would be happy to elaborate. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Bu Sylvie. We have 3 questions from Bu Sylvie. Please Sensei. The first question is kira-kira berapa lama waktu kita untuk melihat perubahan garis pantai itu? Karena kita perencanaan kota kita 20 tahun. Begitu ya, Bu Sylvia. Satu lagi, kapan dan di mana kita perlu melakukan beach nourishment? Satu lagi, saya miss pertanyaan satu lagi. Nah, ada 3 pertanyaan. Mungkin ada pertanyaan juga dari Zoom, masih cukup waktunya? Enggak. Apakah ada, operator? Boleh. Ini kita buka satu pertanyaan dari Zoom meeting.
Sorry, maybe I cannot catch the correctly your question, but the first question is that there are some coastal line change. So how long can we predict, or how long should we monitor for the urban planning? Is it okay? And second one is where should we do the beach nourishment? What is the standard, or what is how to say the requirement for the beach nourishment project? And sorry, third one is in some town has already in the sea. So third one, I cannot catch it.
Please help me.
Sorry.
Mungkin ulangi ya, ini bahasa Jepang nggak beres, bahasa Indonesia nggak beres. So yeah, the second one, maybe you can give example of location, a case study in Japan where you already conducted this nourishment work or project. The third one is the one that you mentioned.
The second one is the example, the case study of in Japan.
Yes.
That is I had already showed in the slide. This is an example. Actually, that has already a sediment input in the coastal area from the river area. But it's important point is how much the volume of the sediment input. But it is depending on the situation, the erosion, and how much the amount of the sediment we can use from the watershed. If we have enough sediment, many plate, I want to put the many plate, but limited sun. So we select some severe erosion location. And then in my slide, I displayed some coastal area. And for example, before the along the coast with the harbor structure. This is it's an example of the sand bypassing and the sand recycling. It is a beach nourishment. By the bypassing and by the recycling, we try to do the beach nourishment using the G sand. Then in Japan, there are many examples about the beach nourishment. But every time, important point is how to keep the how to keep the sediment for the beach nourishment. Example is that it's okay. あとはどれぐらいのモニターが必要かだね。それはやった後。前、after the project, how long should we monitor the effect of the project? Do you want to know how long we have to monitor? Is correct?
For the first question,
yes.
Like if you don't do the project, how much damage? Like how many?
Don't do project.
If you don't do, for instance, in
usually we try to do the project. It is limitation. You have to do before. If we don't do the beach nourishment project, there are some disaster. For example, that beach, there are roads near the beach. These roads has some impact from the coast. For example, the overtopping of the high wave, or sometimes the collapse of the road. So when we try to do this project, maybe national final step of the disaster. And sometimes for the tourists or sightseeing, in the local government want to keep the beach condition very well. At that time, we input the sediment, even though there are not so severe erosion, but by the prediction, maybe after the 10 years, this coast is eroded. And once erosion start, maybe it is very difficult to stop the erosion. Then by the prediction, we decide which site is important for the sediment input and beach nourishment.
Okay, thank you. So I got it. So like even in 10 years, you can like lose it. Yeah. So it should be included in the 20-year plan. Thank you.
Not 10 years example, sometimes only 1 year of the 2 years. But because by the simulation, very easy to simulate the 1 year, the 10 years, or the more 20 years. Because this simulation is very rough. So not so many time or the computational time. So we try to the, for example, sometimes from 1 year to 100 year, well, after the 100 year. And then this beach can kept about 50 years. Maybe in this time, we don't do this beach nice project. But after the 20 years, after the 30 years, prediction again. And if after the 10 years, there are severe condition, we will start. Because anyway, before the erosion, it is better timing of the beach nourishment. But unfortunately, many coasts has already eroded. So we have to start soon. And monitor the beach nourishment. After the beach nourishment, every year, usually we will do the beach survey to continue this environment. And once we find some erosion or the tendency of the erosion or some change, we input again or rearrange this project. So step by step. And once we start the beach nourishment, maybe continuously we have to monitor. No stop, no end.
Thank you, Professor Shigeri Kato. I think we have one question from online Zoom. Oh, Pak Eko. Yes, we have Pak Dr. Eko Prajoko from Mataram University. Silakan Pak Eko.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Tursina. Nice to meet you again. Good afternoon. Ohayou gozaimasu, Kato Sensei. My name is Eko Prajoko. I am from University of Mataram. I'm sorry I cannot speak in Japanese well, even I ever lived in Japan 3 years. I'm a student of Hitoshi Tanaka Sensei from Tohoku University. I'm graduate in 2012. So my subject is in coastal engineering and coastal morphology. I'm interested with when Sensei said about that the one problem of erosion, beach erosion or coastal erosion is because the unbalance of the supply from the upstream, from the river, from the upstream to the beach in the downstream. Because in my location now, I live in the West Nusa Tenggara province, consists of Lombok Island and Sumbawa Island. The location is in the east side of Bali. Recently, government already built about 5 or 6 big dam in our area, our province. So I also curious with the impact, because already happened in the Japan, in the America. The reason is because there are a dam in the upstream. So I'm so curious with the impact of that new dam in our coastal in our area. I want to ask to Kato Sensei about that source of problem from the upstream. What is the Japanese government overcome that? Are there any some activity related with the upstream side, with the dam management or etc.? That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Eko. Sensei, please.
Thank you very much for your question. It is also a very big problem in Japanese the dam construction. So recently in Japan, the dam construction is very rare, and but we have a lot of dam in the upstream area, and there are many sediment accumulated in the dam lake. So now we want to move or also to flow the sediment by the natural water flow, but sometimes it is very important. It is very difficult. So artificial, we to say it, dam management company try to dredge the sediment from the dam area and sometimes artificially move to the downstream area. But unfortunately, these accumulated sediment is very fine sand and not so useful for the river area and also the construction material. So sometimes company can dredge these sediment and can move, but there are no place to put in the area. So it's still the problem also in Japan. But anyway, the dam construction stopped the sediment, not only water, but also the sediment flow. So in Japanese policy is not stop as soon as much as possible. And sometimes the dam gate is open for some low water condition. But in the high water condition, to stop the river flooding, we have to close. So recently, we have to consider the management of the dam, the open and close, and not stop the sediment flow in the river area. It's okay for your question?
Yes, because now I'm also want to make research in our area, how much the contribution of the dam to reduce the sediment supply from to the beach, something like that, to thinking future.
In one example is the dam company make some tunnel from the upstream to the downstream to pass the sediment. But I heard not so good because the concrete tunnel is collapsed by the sediment flow because the sediment attacks the concrete wall and then the concrete wall is collapsed. Yeah. So very fine sand can flow the tunnel from the upstream to the downstream, the dam. But as I said before, we want to use the more large size sediment. Yes. So the dam, this tunnel cannot pass efficiently for these certain size of the sediment. But anyway, the tunnel is one option of the through the sediment from the dam upstream to dam downstream.
Yes, that's good information, Sensei, because Sensei already remind me that the sediment in the dam is a lot of kind of size, yeah. Most of them is in the fine sediment that's not suitable for coastal. So I think we have to to select the size of sediment in the dam when we want to use in the coastal area. Thank you very much, Sensei.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mari kita kasih tepuk tangan yang meriah dulu untuk Sensei untuk sesi pertama ini. We are going to second session. Yeah. Okay, we will begin to start second session with the topic of the opportunity to study at Toyohashi University of Technology in Japan. Please, Sensei, the time is yours.
I'll start the brief introduction to our university and finally the how to come to Japan. It means officially how to get the scholarship. It is very important, I think. This is a view. It's our university in the cherry blossom. Oh, fortunately, this is maybe my room here. In the corner of the top floor here. Yes. It is maybe the end of March that we can see the cherry blossom. And our campus, there are many cherry blossom. Yeah. And this is the location, the information about the location of the Toyohashi. Do you know where is the Toyohashi? Maybe you know where the Toyota company. It's the same prefecture, but don't same, different. It's a the Toyohashi is here. Oh, sorry. Toyohashi is a Toyota near here. The Toyohashi is close to the bay and the Pacific Ocean here. But this Aichi prefecture is almost the center of the Japanese island. Then this is very easy to access to the Tokyo Disneyland, also the Kyoto and Osaka, also the Fukuoka, the Kyushu and the Hokkaido. It is very easy to access because we have the Shinkansen, it's a super express train near in the Toyohashi. So we can catch the Shinkansen express train to go to Nagoya and maybe the Tokyo less than 2 hours, and the Kyoto and Osaka also less than 2 hours. And fortunately, we have the airport near here, Tube Airport. But this time I also use here and go to the Singapore and go to the Jakarta and one night stay. And tomorrow and yesterday I arrived almost 2 days from the Toyohashi to Jakarta to Banda Aceh. But maybe usually one day and one and a half day. This time, unfortunately. But anyway, this location is very easy to access any place inside the Japan, also the outside Japan. And Toyohashi City is the center of the industry and agriculture. Then the industry also, as I said before, the Toyota is a big company. So in the not only the Aichi prefecture, also the Tube area, the center of the Japanese area is very active in the industry. And also the agriculture near here. So when the student come to Japan, maybe the big problem is the living cost. But once they live in the Tokyo, the Nagoya, the Osaka, in the big city, the living expense is very high, but the Toyohashi is not unfortunate, a little the countryside. So the living costs are a little cheaper than in the big area. But anyway, I have the Toyohashi has some merit of this location. Now, this is a policy, a philosophy of our university. Our university is the only one faculty university, only engineering. Then the research and education in the technology and science. And practical, also the practical, creative, and leading engineer and researcher. And also we focus on the postgraduate education and research. So many master and doctor program students in our university. And our university is selected as one of the research university in Japan. So we try to do the research and also the practical engineer. And also the active international exchange. It means that we have the many international students in our campus. This is the structure of our university, Toyohashi University of Technology, so we say the TUT, and the total number is about 2,000. I think for your university, it's very small. Maybe how many students in your university totally? 10 times or 20 times of our university? 10 times, yes. So because only one faculty, only engineering faculty, but undergraduate student is half of this one, and another half is a graduate student. It means a very large number of the graduate school student. Then our university tried to do the research intensively. And international student is the 200. Maybe number of the 200 not so many, but percentage of the total number of the students about 10%. It's very high. I think that maybe in the top 10 in Japanese university. So it is very easy to find the international student in our campus. There are many, many students. And the international student has a lot of the activity. So in our campus, so we, last year, less than 10%, but maybe this number is different from this one. So if we use this one, the more than 10%. Our university tried to increase this number. I'm not sure it is possible or not, but our president said about 20%. So too many international students gathered all of the world in the world. And our university have the 5 departments, 1 engineering faculty, but 5 departments: mechanical, electrical, and computer science, and the chemistry, and our architecture and civil engineering. But our university is a very unique university because about 80% of the students from the Kosen is in the technical college of National College of Technology. It's at like a polytech. So we have many students in 3rd grade, and 80% is in the 3rd grade, and 3rd grade, 4th grade, and master 1st, master 2nd. It's almost a continuous education and research the whole year. Then it is a very unique university in Japan. These are the 5 departments, and we have the 1 institute for the liberal arts. But these 5 departments and mechanical engineering also the 4 courses, and electrical and electronic information engineering and the 4 courses, and the computer science is the 2 course with the 2 program, and applied chemistry has also the 2 program. And in our department, architecture and civil engineering have the 2 programs for the architecture and civil engineering. I am the member of the civil engineering, but many students want to study about architecture, even though he is a civil engineering student in the Polytechnic. He can move, they can change the major of the study in our university. But half of the students selected the civil and environmental engineering program. But anyway, this is 1 department, but the content is the 2 departments, architecture and civil engineering. So this is the structure of the student number. So as I said before, 80% of the students enter the 3rd grade. So 1st grade and the 2nd grade is less than 100, very few. So every time my class, less than this member, sometimes less than 10. So it is, I don't do some counting of the student, because once I see it, who is absent, who is here. So very small number of the students in the 1st grade and the 2nd grade. But I think that very strong benefit for the student because we can talk, we can communicate with each one. So when I do the teaching in the class, so sometimes I ask the student, how about that? Oh, next one, how about that? Maybe for the student, don't ask me every time, don't ask me. But I ask, but by using this communication, so I think for the student understanding is very deep. And in the third grade, many students together. So in our department, finally more than the 50 or the 60 students. But I am the member of the civil engineering program. So my class is about less than the 20. So anyway, it's a small number of students in one class, so we can communicate. And many students continue to study the master program. Usually another university, maybe number of these students is sometimes 2/3 or sometimes half of the number of the graduate students. But our university is many number of the master course students right here. This is the information about the international student. So Malaysian, Indonesian, and Mongolia is the top 3 in our university. Yes. Maybe Professor Shamsidik was the student top 1 in the Indonesia. Maybe, yes, at that time. Indonesian student about 40 or the 50. And recently the Mongolian student, the number of Mongolian increased. But maybe the Indonesian, the top, the Malaysian, the Vietnam. The another university, many Chinese students, but our university is not so many. That is our characteristic to international student like this. So Indonesian students have the community, very strong community. So in every October, every year in October, our international master program will start. So many new faces joined our program. So once Indonesian students joined our university, maybe many alumni to support their life. So sometimes refrigerator, the bicycle, and the pot, sometimes the bed or the TV, the many gathered. So I think the Indonesian student, our university, very safety and very easy to start the new life. This is the international relation program and with the holding partners. Now we have the many collaboration university, but in Indonesia, we have the training program with ITB and also the Hassan University. But unfortunately, we don't have some collaboration, this program to your university. But many students graduate, many Shakai University students graduate in the master program in our university and also get the PhD in our university. No, I hope that we want to extend our collaboration between the TUT and the Shakai University. And after the graduation, many students get a job in the industrial field. And before that, the graduate student of the master course. So many students continue to study in the master program from that needs. About 80 or maybe this is 80%, but the maximum is 90% of the students continue to study in the master program from the undergraduate program. And graduate student of the master, it's many students get a job in the company. Also in the manufacturing and some specific skill engineer like this. But small number of the students continue to study in the doctor program. Yes. And so if even though the international student want to get a job in Japanese company, maybe there is some possibility to get a job in Japan. But how to come is very important issue, I think. And if you will join in our university, we have the several type of the student. One, typically there are two types. One is a regular student and another one is a non-regular student. But regular student means international graduate program student. So student enters our program from the October. Then in Japan, academic year is from April and ended to the March. And then, but in international program, start from the October. The October to end of the March, at the fourth semester for the international, it's the first semester. And once student is enrolled to the international program, in the master program, 2 years study, and the doctor program, the 3 years study, not 7 years. 3 years. And this program is given in English. All of class is given in English. And also, if you want, that you can take the internship in the industrial company. It's a regular program. And non-regular, the student is a research student. And maybe Arisuna-san is the research student. This one, Ocha also. Also the research student in the short-term stay. Andre also here. And to the research and the guidance of our teacher. And but unfortunately, it did not get the credit only for the research, the research student. And another option is the visiting student, the research or study, both, okay. The special research student or the special audit student. This is only for the education, this is only for the research. But these are only for the short term, usually less than 1 year. And also the short-term visiting international student. But anyway, this student is stay in TUT about maximally 1 year. If you want to stay more than 1 year, it is better to enter the international program. In this time, important point, how to get the scholarship. Best one is the Japanese government. We say it's mixed. Ministry of Education, sorry, I forget. Anyway, mixed scholarship. This is the best one, I think. But another one is the JICA scholarship based on some program. Now also, this is the Aichi scholarship. Aichi is the Aichi prefecture. And the Toyohashi is in the Aichi prefecture. The Aichi prefecture have some scholarship to how to say to employ the foreign people, international people in the company. So students are encouraged to find work at the Aichi company after the finish of their study. So Aichi prefecture government provides the scholarship for the international program during the but first priority is maybe the mixed scholarship. This scholarship now in our university, only 2 applicants is acceptable. But the total number of the scholarship student is now this year maybe more than 10. Because our department has our original special program. Then this program has 5 candidates. And maybe the mechanical engineering program has also the special program. And this program also has 5 candidates. And from next year, maybe electrical engineering department has a special program for 3 or 4 candidates. And this is not a general, this is a general scholarship, general program. The two, the totally maybe next year about the less than 20 candidates will be accepted in the next scholarship. So I think this percent is very high. And this year, I recommend one from the Bangladesh. I think firstly, there's very less possibility, but as I say, each department has each special program. So many students apply this special program. Then general program is only 2 candidates. So maybe my student will get the scholarship. But anyway, there are many high possibility to get the scholarship recently. And this is by the government. So every year about this money, every month, 1, 2 だから how much is a rupiah? Japanese yen like this. 50 million rupiah every month will be supported. But please give us high educational record like this. But GPA, the grade point, I forget. Maybe you had already, you know where the GPA. And the 2.3, the out of 3. Maybe recently the total is 4, but the Japanese government still uses 3. So we have to translate your educational record to out of the 3. But this is a minimum requirement. So it is better to hire, it's better. And recently, this is a strictly condition, language ability. If you can speak Japanese, N2 is of Japanese language proficiency. N2 may be difficult, maybe past something is N2. But not it is for Japanese language. Usually the international student satisfies the English ability. And English language ability is the far it's more than the B2 in English. So if you want to apply the scholarship, not only our university, but also the other university in Japan, maybe this is the same certification requirement because by the Japanese government. So if you want to go to the Japan, firstly, please take this record first. And application deadline is also important. This year, end of the December, but it depends on the year. So please check many times. So should contact a prospective supervisor earlier. This year, I received the email about the end of the October. Some student sent me the email, I want to go to Japan. And we have some communication using the email. And finally, I have the internet interview, the student. I selected one student. And maybe this procedure is almost the same as a professor. So there are some prospective supervisor in our department or also in another university. I recommend you to contact earlier. And this scholarship is before coming to Japan, but some scholarship is after the coming to Japan. But I recommend you to apply this one. And also in other university, original scholarship is prepared. Please check. But in our university, TUT, firstly, I recommend to apply this scholarship. And this is the cost for this. Can I continue? Okay. The cost and for the studying in TUT and also living in Toyohashi. But above table is the admission and the tuition fee. These are the very expensive recently. Not only international student, but also the Japanese student. It's very expensive. But once you get the mixed scholarship, maybe exempt. So every time I recommend the student, please try to the mixed scholarship. Because finance, the sales finance student should be paid the GIS1. There, if the student applied some exemption procedure application, some part, maybe half of the GIS price will be exempt, but half of the GIS price is still higher. And also the scholarship from the private company. These students also the category of the private self-finance student, so have to pay this one. So scholarship by the government, not only government in Japanese government, also the, I think the Indonesian government, the same situation. So please try to the scholarship from the government. And living expense per month is maybe for the apartment about 200,000 rupiah to 500, no, 5 million, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0. How much that? 2, 0. Yeah, every month the apartment is yes, and with the bathroom and the toilet. But in the old stripe, shared bathroom and the toilet, it's cheaper. If you try to stay in the Tokyo or Osaka or Kyoto, the big city, double of this price, twice of this price maybe. And food and daily expense is monthly this price that totally maybe less than 100,000 yen, enough for the living expense per month. But anyway, so I recommend you to have the scholarship in the government scholarship, and please contact to your prospective supervisor and earlier. Then it is a start of your studying in Japan. It is not only in TUT, but also all of the Japanese university, I think. But I hope you will come to our university. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please give applause to Professor Shigeri Kato. Now we are open the question for the session 2. Ada yang ingin ditanyakan? Wajah-wajah mau lanjut sekolah ini rame ini. Mungkin ada yang mau ditanyakan. Or maybe there are questions from online participant. Is there any question? So many scholarship opportunity from
Not so many, very limited.
limited, but so much. Maybe
Yes.
makes JICA scholarship, IEC scholarship.
But JICA is depending on the program. So some year there are many there are many programs, but some year sometimes nothing. So depending on the JICA program. So JICA is depending on year. So I cannot say how many the candidate we accepted. So JICA is one possibility that in our university, the next is the first priority. The second one is Aichi. But Aichi Prefecture scholarship is for want to get a job at Aichi Prefecture after the graduation. And to get a job, sometimes is not proficiency was necessary. Sometimes N2. So I think there's not so many, and the next is the best choice.
The best choice. Yes, maybe ada pertanyaan? Boleh.
I just want to comment that question. Maybe I just speak in bahasa. So Bapak Ibu sekalian, jadi yang tadi ditampilkan itu memang sekarang itu jumlah beasiswa Max itu sekarang turun memang. Nah, tidak hanya di Toyohashi, di seluruh Jepang jumlahnya itu turun. Tapi sebenarnya kalau Max dengan beasiswa Max itu sangat layak hidupnya. Apalagi kalau tinggalnya di Toyohashi ya, mungkin setengahnya itu bisa untuk saving lah, bisa untuk keperluan lain ya. Tapi kalau tinggalnya di kota besar seperti Tokyo mungkin kalau single masih cukup ya. Tapi kalau sudah berkeluarga mungkin nggak cukup, harus kerja ya, harus apa namanya part time job ya. Tapi kalau part time job banyak. Jadi silakan dipilih ini Bapak Ibu ya. Terus yang tadi Aichi, ikura desu ka? Ichi sho gaku kin wa maisu wa maigetsu wa ikura? Almost. So sama juga kurang lebih. Tapi waktu saya itu jumlahnya lebih sedikit waktu itu sekitar 85 ribuan. Sekarang mungkin katanya sama ya. Jadi silakan dipilih mana yang apa namanya peluangnya lebih besar. Memang yang Max itu jadi favorit kalau sumber pendanaan dari pemerintah Jepang. Cuma Bapak Ibu kalau yang berpikir LPDP mungkin agak sulit ya. Kalau LPDP kan ada syarat 100 apa 200 ranking dunia ya. Jadi karena ini adalah fakultas teknik saja, jadi dia tidak masuk dalam perankingan yang 100-200 itu. Jadi agak sulit ya kalau masuk dari LPDP. LPDP ke Jepang pun nggak banyak juga, seingat saya. Hanya ada beberapa kayak Tohoku, Tokyo University, Osaka mungkin ya, Kyoto kali ya. Selebih itu nggak bisa juga. Nah, ini terutama yang baru-baru jadi dosen, siapa-siapa lah yang baru jadi dosen kan jangan lama-lama sambung S3. Karena pengalaman saya pribadi kalau kelamaan jadi nyaman, jadi nanti lupa nyambung sekolah gitu. Jadi begitu pas CPNS-nya terpenuhi ya udah sekolah terus gitu. Jangan tunggu sampai lama-lama karena semakin lama makin nyaman dengan kondisi pribadi gitu ya. Habis itu malas sekolah. Ujung-ujungnya nanti ya udah dekat-dekat aja. Bukannya dekat-dekat tidak bagus, tapi menurut saya sekolah di luar negeri itu satu memang ilmu ya. Yang kedua yang lebih penting lagi adalah atmosfernya. Nggak sama. Saya yang udah sekolah di sana ya kalau peralatan riset mungkin kalau sekarang bagusan di TDMRC di Jepang atau bahkan di Toyohashi, di Tohoku ya. Kalau peralatan riset. Tapi bukan itu aja kan. Jadi ada atmosfernya, lingkungan dan yang membuat kita jadi lebih baik lah menurut saya. Jadi segera ini terutama yang baru-baru CPNS silakan untuk melamar ya. Mungkin itu saja dari saya, mudah-mudahan berguna.
Terima kasih Prof. Samsidi. Tadi ada penanya siapa? Azizi ya? Ya boleh dibantu.
Hai, ありがとうございます。先生、私は質問があります。その豊橋大学からその奨学金がありますか？その2番目は、そのディサスターのトゥリズムの、専門が豊橋大学がありますか？ディサスタートゥリズムのリベラルアーツからファクルティ。トゥリズム、ディサスタートゥリズム。
It means the viewpoint of the economics or something.
Yeah. あれ
And the first one is our university also has some scholarship for the doctor program.
Doctor program.
International doctor program, because not only our university, but also all of the Japanese university want to increase the number of the doctoral student. Then our university also have the original scholarship for the doctor program student. But unfortunately for the master program student, we have not this original program. But if when the student receives the approval of some part-time job, then the student can do the job inside the campus. Also, the professor hires the student for the assistant of the research like this, and the private the research funding. It is some possibility. And the second one is our university is an engineering university, so there are not faculty of the economics or the finance, but in the Institute of the Liberal Arts, there are some professor for the economic industry economics, or sometimes there's how to say the social science. Also in our department, one professor is for the one professor do the research in the viewpoint of the economics of the regional economy, and it also including the disaster impact, and also the urban planning, including the disaster impact, how to develop the urban area and how to develop the economics in this urban area after the disaster or before the disaster. And recently, impact of the COVID-19. How many the sightseeing increase or decrease, and how much the impact of the local economy, that is a change of the number of the sightseeing. Yeah, this is some option of your research.
Thank you very much. Apakah masih ada pertanyaan, terutama ini yang teknik ya, yang mau lanjut untuk ke TUT? Tadi saya mencatat kalau Max Scholarship itu deadline-nya 27 Desember. Jadi boleh. Depend on the years. Yeah.
Anyway, we want to wait from the announcement for the Max every year. And this year, the final deadline is maybe the end of the January, but we have to select in the campus in our university. So deadline for our office is end of the December. So every year, a little change. Maybe last year, middle of the July, January, middle of the January. So firstly, I thought, but once we received the announcement at the end of the December, so I sent email to my students, please prepare this document as soon as possible. And fortunately, recently, the electronic document is acceptable. Last year, it is not accepted. So each student have to send the original document by the international postmail. So from here to Japan, 3 or 4 days, but electronic document is acceptable. So today is the deadline, so we can send it today. But anyway, the deadline depends on the year, so we have to check every time.
Oke, baik, berarti dipantau ya informasi tentang scholarship, terutama Max, ada JICA, ada IC yang mau melanjutkan studi ke TUT. Bagaimana, ada pertanyaan dari
age limitation is the mixed is based standing from the mixed requirement is the same. The IG is I don't know, sorry, but maybe all of the system they based on the mixed scholarship, so almost the same. 35.
For doctoral degree or
For Musa. But each prefecture scholarship, the purpose of this scholarship is to gather the young people who are in the working in the each prefecture. So if you think I'm very young, please try. But maybe you can check these scholars.
Thank you, Sensei. Bagaimana ada di Zoom ada? Kalau tidak ada, oh ada satu lagi dari our MC, our Master of Ceremony. Please, Arisna.
Okay, thank you, Sensei. I have one question. Are there any requirement for to become a student or supervisor? Like I must have research interest the same with supervisor, or article published same or anything?
Scholar degree.
Yes. Any there are there any requirement?
Specific requirement for the doctoral
Yes.
student, like
Specific requirement. What meaning does this specific?
publication,
Publication for the doctor, for the student?
No, like research for that student. Yeah.
And to be the student,
Yes.
no requirement.
No requirement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But we will do the selection for the many candidates at that time. For example, especially the doctor program student time, the number of the publication is some factor of the selection. So if you have the journal or some other the proceedings in the international conference, it was better. But this is not requirement. No requirement.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Sometimes maybe we wanted to know about the process, and then what is the most important things that we can improve the possibilities of that we can be accepted. Beside my age that exceeds 35, but this young person around here, the generation, they wanted to know, is there any specific topic that they need to address that have the higher value, that because we compete with the others with
The research topics.
yeah, disaster, or yeah, mostly engineering topics. I mean, because it's a TUT. And then is there any specific priority for a region, like country, maybe this year? Like
The region, sometimes region is specific to, and as I said, each department has a special program. Then this program has a focus on the JITS field. Or in our department case, the target is architecture or civil engineering, the field, the student in the JITS field. But in the mechanical engineering program, usually student in mechanical engineering. So special program has some limitation or the research field, but in the general program, not limitation of the research. And even in our special program, there are no limitation, higher priority of the research. There are no priority. So each research is independent, and also each research can acceptable. But in the selection of the candidate, usually GPA or like the publication, and in some program, sometimes they're limited in the area. So Asian people or sometimes the African people, the Southeast Asia or the South Asia or the European, like this. Depending on this program. But usually next scholarship, also the in general program, there are no these limitations. So only AG.
Okay. And then what about the field research? Will they have the bigger possibilities if they address the field of the research that they plan according to the last research or the research that have been conducted in TUT and then can be defaulted, or anything else maybe? Because is it great to propose the new research plan or the one that connected to the previous research that had been conducted in TUT but with some development?
Both type is okay, but program is only 3 in the PhD program, only 3 years, and the master is 2 years. Maybe master program is 2 years. Master program is maybe not so severe for the research topics, but in the 3 years doctor program, finally the student should be gets the PhD degree, and the final requirement is some publication to apply the degree. Before that, the student have to have some publication because this is achievement of the research. Then new topics is sometimes higher barrier to publication. Then usually many of the students continues the previous study, and what part is enhanced or developed or input the new insight or input the new data. So revision of the previous study is maybe the better, I think. But if you want to try to the new topics, and at that time, I think you have to consider the very detailed schedule, detailed plan of the research, and you can get the achievement and also some publication. Then we can try that. But without these detailed, very specific the planning, maybe it's very difficult. If it is me, the supervisor, me, I cannot accept this student. If you apply, I can accept, but usually these students have not so familiar with and not so frequent contact with the student and the supervisor. In my case, suddenly I received the email and start the communication. But if in your case, I have the many communications, so I can understand the you. Then we can discuss the possibility of the new topics. But new face, new student, it's very difficult, I think. So depending on the relationship between the supervisor and the student, and how much is the detailed schedule plan of the research, depending on these issue, I think.
Okay, thank you very much, Sensei, for the insight.
Very much. Gimana Musa? Ada pencerahan ya? Okay, we are at the end of the event, I think. We have limited time, Sensei. So thank you very much to Sensei we have a lot of insight with from the topic 1, from the coastal protection technology in Japan, and also we has so much information about the TUT. So we hope some of us have opportunity to continue our study to TUT. I also want to thank to all participants today, on site and online participant. So give a big applause again to Professor Shigeru Kato. I will hand over back my the event to our Master of Ceremony. And then I will say thank you to all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Sensei and Mrs. Tursina. Next, it's our honor to present this plaque as a symbol of our gratitude. Please welcome for the Director of TDMRC, Professor Dr. Shamsidik, for giving the plaque to Sensei Kato. Thank you, Prof. Dr. Shamsidik and Sensei Kato. For the participant in on-site, please be reminded to fill out the attendance form by scanning the barcode provided. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's the wrap of this event. On behalf of the organizing committee, I, Arisna Fauzia, would like to thank everyone at the venue and on the Zoom meeting online for allowing some of your precious time to join with us here today. We look forward to seeing you again next event, and we also apologize if there are words or action that are less pleasing. That's all from us. Thank you very much. Arigatou gozaimasu. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.